Hello, and welcome to the RTCC podcast, where we shine light on relevant college and career information that students and parents need to know. My name is Robert Ortiz, and I'll be your host today. The team at Uplift Education are excited to launch this new podcast. All of you listening have experienced significant changes to your lives, which is why we're excited to launch this podcast to where we can inform you on the information you need to know. Welcome to our second episode of the RTCC podcast. Thank you for tuning in. First, I want to thank those of you who have reached out from last week's episode by sending your questions and sending us major love. We are so excited to bring you new episodes every Friday. Today, I'm excited to welcome Yanadira Mendez-Magana. Welcome. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. Can you start by sharing with our listeners who you are, what's your title at Uplift, and what are some of the things that you do?
Official title is Manager of College Access and Financial Aid, but basically what I do is I work on the college access side of the road to college and career. So anything that has to do with working with your road to college counselors or your road to college offices, you'll always see me in one of those offices helping your college counselors with anything that they need. And I do a lot of the financial aid planning and prepping. So you can also find a lot of videos on YouTube on how to prepare for your FAFSA. And so I'm the one in those videos. And I'm housed in the central management office. I really support any and every campus that needs my help. So that's a little bit about what I do, but any of those other big road to college events like College Fair or Jump, I also help plan those.
That's exciting. Sounds like a lot of work, but also able to do some really fun and cool things.
Yeah. And it's really rewarding too, because I get to see students all the time. I get to work with parents. It's really energizing work.
I'm really happy you're on the show today because we're going to talk about how the COVID-19 pandemic will impact our high school seniors, especially those who are planning to go to college in the fall. We understand seniors and parents are having a lot of questions and they're needing a lot of answers, especially how they navigate through this time of uncertainty and how their college journey is going to look different for fall 2020. I'm really excited you're here today where we can talk through some of these things.
All of these uneasy feelings and this anxiety that we have is so valid. I think one of the hardest parts and why I'm kind of at a loss for words of how this impact is just like the unknown, right? Like we don't know, we don't have a lot of answers because we're still kind of in this waiting space. And so what we're really leaning on is all of our university friends just being as clear with us, all of our teachers and our administration being so committed to the work. Like that's what we're really leaning on is the people in the community. All the people are still there. We're all trying and we're all doing the best that we can. So even though it feels like what was this all for, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There is an end to this. Even though we don't know when that is, we're going to get there eventually, and we're all going to get there together. So, but yeah, we're trying really hard to talk to all of our universities, all of our friends that work across the educational spectrum of like, hey, what are you doing for our students? How is this going to affect financial aid packages? Does this mean that our students can still go to school in the fall? Does this mean our students are still graduating? So hopefully, I can kind of bring some answers to that uncertainty right now.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up because for those who are listening, Uplift has several partnerships with colleges and universities across the nation. As we've heard in the last couple of weeks, schools are navigating how to address this pandemic and what does that mean for classes and accommodations and living situations. And so as we're figuring it out, our college and university partnership schools are figuring it out. And I know that through these partnerships that Uplift has, it's really proven to increase opportunities for our scholars to enroll in college by, offering scholarships to intentional campus support. And I know with your role, it allows you to be in frequent communication with those partners. So in your conversations with them, what are you currently hearing or learning from them as that are navigating adjustments to the college application process, to what college is going to look like in the fall? What does that enrollment piece look like? Have you been able to gain any insight from them?
Yeah. So it's been, like I've said, it's been challenging for everyone, but most of our college and university partners, and even those that are not our partners, but work very closely with our communities and with our students, they've shared how they're supporting our students and how they're supporting their community. And they seem so clear. They've given us such clear initiatives that they've been implementing throughout their entire campus. So some ways that they're helping our students is they're extending their deadlines for students making their final college decisions. So typically students decide and submit all of their decisions by May 1st. And that's typically also when colleges require their deposit so that you can confirm that you're attending their school. Well, a lot of schools are moving their a final college decision date till June. So that's one way that that schools are helping our students right now. As far as students that are still unsure of where they're going to school, a lot of our universities are offering virtual tours. They're offering virtual information sessions, opportunities for you to meet and talk to current students online. It's not the same as being on campus, but the fact that our schools are so committed to creating a personalized experience for our students, that's going to go a long way. And it should go a long way because it should show that a university is still committed to creating this personalized environment for you while you're having all these questions and concerns and reservations.
Right. And what about those seniors who are still unsure about which college they want to go to? What could help them make an informed decision in light of all of this?
So we have a lot of Facebook groups, right, with all of our college friends. And one thing that has been popping up again and again that I want to stress is, right now it's really hard to make your decision, but one thing that should play a factor in making your college decision is just seeing how your university has that you're interested in attending has addressed all of these COVID-19 issues, right? Like, how have they treated students in this whole you know in this whole challenging time? One one of our one of our Facebook groups that we have a lot of our friends is the Accept group, which is admissions community cultivating equity and peace today, and they're a group that have been sharing so many resources on what schools are doing. But I do want to highlight, one of our partners, Lawrence University, just to give you some examples of what they're doing for our students. They literally have helped students pack up their rooms, so they communicated that they were closing campus, so they helped students buy boxes, they bought their tape, they helped students pack up their rooms, they helped fly students back home so that they made sure that they got home safely, because our partner Lawrence, they're in Appleton, Wisconsin, right? So they're pretty far away, and not only did they pay for like all the boxes and the tape, but they also paid for storage facilities so that our students could store their dorm things in a safe space. They checked in with all of our counselors to make sure that their counseling team knew that they were safe. They let us know immediately everything that they were doing for students. They've been so great, and that's just one example of one of our partners that has gone above and beyond for our students. So they shared all of these mental health resources. They've really just been an incredible example of the type of partners that Uplift has really fostered and created for our students.
That is such great advice, and I'm so happy you shared that. It is so important to really look at how universities are responding to this pandemic and how they are supporting students and looking out for their best interest. I was speaking to one of our alums who's out of state for school, and she was sharing similar experiences from her university where she was going to move out, she's going to move back home, but the university was going to refund her of dorm expenses, food expenses. That's money back in her pocket that she can use for travel, for maybe it is temporary living expenses back home. Maybe that could also be a little bit of support for her family while she's home with like groceries or utilities, whatever that may be.
Right.
I won't name the college, but I did read this week where a university was welcoming students back on campus, and they were not taking those measures into an effect that were in place for the state or for the city of social distancing or shelter in place, because they just felt like they were above of this crisis.
Right.
And that was so frustrating and infuriating for me to read because of the danger that they're putting students at risk. And then those students who may want to, follow those orders and not return campus, they're now going to be penalized by this school, which is so unfair and unfortunate.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Yeah. I mean, that right there shows students like, what does that university really care about? And if you don't value your students, what do you value, right? Like that your students make up your community. They are really the face and the bread and butter of your entire college or university. And so there are universities out of state that are doing all of these incredible things for our students, paying for their flights and for storage facilities and all of this stuff. But even our local partners and our local universities have been doing some incredible work. So even if students are thinking about staying in state, like look at what those schools are doing for those students. We just heard back from UTA this week that they're refunding. They're doing a partial refund for those students that are living on campus because their students had to move out, and so those students are going to be able to use that partial refund for exactly what you're saying, right? If their family needs extra income right now, they're also refunding unused meal swipes. They're doing whatever they can to support students, financially as much as they can right now, and they've been very quick to respond to students and to our team about that. So it's not just private schools that are incredible opportunities out of state. There are also some really, really great opportunities in schools that are really taking care of our students here locally too. So,
yeah, that's so great to hear. Really happy to see universities support students in that way. That's something that, we live for each day, is to ensure that students are best prepared for college success. And it's really exciting to see universities step up in that way as well. So so with these changes, right, like there is uncertainty with a lot of what's happening, especially for high school seniors, of how to navigate, processes going forward. What would you say, or what advice would you have for them who may be thinking like, well, how do I ensure that I'm not lost in the shuffle, or that there's not any hiccups with this process? How do I make sure that all of my T's are crossed, all my I's are dotted? What do I need to focus on now? What do I need to prioritize to ensure there aren't any hiccups?
Yeah, most definitely. So I would say staying connected and similar to how I said, consistent communication is key. When it's like college facing, that you want your college to be communicating with you. Your college also wants to hear from you, and making sure that you have developed a good relationship with your college rep to your universities that you've applied to, as well as their financial aid office. So, and if you need a little bit of help, I think luckily in the past we've had the Road to College office, and so our college counselors have been really helpful with our students doing those phone calls. Like you're not alone. We're still happy to assist you with a phone call and help you advocate for yourself so that you definitely don't get lost in the shuffle. Right now, a lot of offices are trying to figure out like, okay, how are we going to stay on top of it? And just so just keep raising your hand, right? Like just keep reaching out. And even if you don't hear back, it has nothing to do with what you've done. It's just that college, your college reps and financial aid offices are trying to navigate a lot of things. So just keep reaching out is what I would say. Some are recommending emailing over calling because no one is in the office, and especially because even if there were to be someone in the office or there was a personal cell, I bet they have a lot of calls coming in at all times. So just go ahead and email them. And if you don't know their emails, log into your student portals, log into your email. A lot of universities have sent information to your email. So you should be logging into your emails every day, and logging into your student portals as well. So they have, most colleges have dedicated pages for COVID updates. So make sure to go onto your school's websites and click on those links. So yeah, that's just staying connected. Really, that's like the biggest thing that students can do.
Yeah. And I know that may sound repetitive, right? To stay connected or stay engaged or reach out. But I think now more so than ever, it's important for students to really demonstrate self-advocacy and to really practice, those behaviors, right? Those skill sets of really reaching out and like advocating and asking those questions. Because, we have to think back too that universities and colleges are also navigating how this affects their operations, how it affects their communication. And so if there is going to be any human error, it may very well be during this time.
Right.
And so during this time, more than ever, it's important for them to reach out to ensure that they have the information that they need. And also to your point as well with email is it's documented. And the more that we can have those communications through email, the more that students can do that, the more that they can leverage what they need going forward.
Yeah. And just like to reiterate what you said, human error, like we're all human. This is all crazy and chaotic for all of us. So just don't be hard on yourself if you don't hear back. Just keep on keeping on, because you're not alone. And again, if you need any help, your Road to College counselors are here. Us at the Central Management Office are here to help in any way that we can. We want to support you to make sure that you have all the information you need.
So let's talk money. As seniors are navigating the road to college for fall 2020, money is at top of mind. Surely this process will be impacted due to COVID-19, especially as the economy is taking a hit. So how do seniors need to be navigating the financial aid process?
Yeah, so there have been a lot of questions about how this will affect financial aid, or if your income has changed because of COVID-19, and so now the financial aid packages that you've got, it's not an accurate representation of your family situation. That, again, you're not alone with that. Each school will have a different policy in regard to how to kind of submit an appeal or a request to re-review your financial aid package. But that's where calling your financial aid office and getting connected with who your financial aid counselor is going to be very important.
Let's say a senior has done that. They've reached out, but has not received a response in a timely manner. Is there something else they can be doing to find information they need?
Definitely check out the financial aid page of those schools. If you don't know who your counselor is, normally there's an easy way to just like, hey, this is my name, or on your student portal, it'll say something, but your financial aid packages might be coming in slower right now, and that's normal. And you might have a different financial situation, and that's normal. So again, this has nothing to do with this is nothing wrong that you did. It's just a matter of we're going to have to follow up, and we're going to have to request more information
I think it goes without saying that things are changing by the day, sometimes even by the hour. And it's very possible that what we know today could very well change next week, could very well change next month. Just, as we continue to see the effects of this pandemic. And I think it goes back to what you've been encouraging is for scholars, for parents, even for our alums who are listening, it's so important to stay connected and to really check for those updates and to continue the process of what it is today, which, leads me to my next question. There's a stimulus package that really speaks to student loans and other things, but even when it comes to federal aid and the FAFSA, we could see some adjustments happen there too. So could you share what you know right now and what are some things that could be helpful for our listeners to know?
Yeah. Um, so I'll answer it twofold. So there are some schools that are actually a lot of our partner colleges do meet 100% of financial demonstrated need, which means that depending on how much money your family has to contribute to the education of your child, um, based on the FAFSA, that our partners will meet that need. So even if your financial situation changes because of all of this, your financial aid packages will most likely reflect that. And a lot of schools are preparing for the impact that COVID will have on the financial aid process. So, if your students are applying to those types of schools, then I would just say, like, don't worry, your financial situation will reflect that. For those that are applying to schools that do not meet 100% of financial demonstrated needs, so our local, state, public institutions do not meet 100% of financial demonstrated need. With those schools, your scholar or you will have to really, really advocate for yourself and really get connected to the financial aid office and find out who your financial aid counselor is, because every school will most likely have a different process of how to appeal your financial aid, which means just asking the financial aid office to review your financial aid award letter again to reflect now your new circumstances in terms of the income of your household. So a lot of schools are preparing for this. Many schools will most likely have a type of team dedicated to figuring out how to tackle this. So you're not alone in this process.
There's a step in the financial aid process that has proven to cause delay and frustration, which is the verification. Do you know if this step of the financial aid process will look different for the upcoming 2020-2021 school year?
If you're kind of in that verification process, the Department of Education will be releasing information on how they will be flexible with the verification process of this upcoming school year. And so they haven't released really like what they mean by flexible, because the verification process is to kind of verify your identity and your income, and so they're kind of diligently working on what that actually means, and so they'll be posting that on their Department of Education website. So the FAFSA.gov website, you'll find it on there, and so that should be forthcoming.
Who should scholars reach out to if they have questions about anything, whether that be graduation requirements, college applications, financial aid? Who would be the best person to reach out to?
Yeah, so they have an army of people that they can reach out to. So if you go to uplifteducation.org, there's going to be a bunch of tabs up at the top. And if you go to the Uplift Difference and click on Road to College and Career, there will be this page that pops up. And so go to the Road to College and Road to College program, and you will see all the contact information from everyone at the Central Management Office. And you can find the contact information for your specific high school in one of those links. So you can reach out to your Road to College counselors, your Dean of College Prep. If you have specific questions on financial aid, you can find my email there, ymagana@uplifteducation.org. So there are so many ways that you can reach out to us.
Awesome. You shared a lot of information today and provided, I believe, some answers that scholars and families can have that can help them navigate next steps wherever they are in whatever process. I think there's probably more answers that we all would like at this time. And given our current state, we just don't have them yet. And so we really want to encourage our listeners to come back and listen to future episodes, because I definitely see us having more of those answers, or the answers that we provided today may have changed or shifted in some way, some degree. But could you just share any last words or thoughts for students, families, as they navigate this time?
I think one thing that really gives me a lot of hope is just how committed everyone is to this goal of kind of going back to normalcy, and that we're all in this together, right? Like no one is alone, because we're all kind of facing very similar challenges. But I would say, just I'm still dreaming, keep dreaming, keep fighting for all these things that you've worked so hard for, because you've got a whole team of people that have got your back and are trying to help you achieve those goals in any way possible. So,
yeah, you really brought up a really good point, and some encouragement for our seniors is that I can imagine feeling unsure about the future. What's graduation going to look like? What's fall going to look like if they're planning to go to college? So they may feel like everything they worked hard for is not worth it anymore, or like, what's the point to continue on? Do I still go to college? Do I still make those efforts to achieve my goals? And you're right, where everyone is working so hard to ensure that their journey continues, and that their journey is still strong, and that they're still on the path to achieve those goals that they've worked so hard for.
Yeah, most definitely. So just don't forget to live. Don't forget to celebrate every milestone. This is such a hard time, and we can say that over and over again, but don't forget to take care of yourself. It is something that I know the Road to College team is trying to do with each other, something that I'm trying to do with my family. So no matter the tough circumstances, you've done such an incredible job of making it this far, and you're going to do incredible things with your future. And we don't doubt that one bit. So just keep on living, keep on celebrating, bake a cake, learn a new recipe, adopt a pet, go for a walk, and just take care of yourself. And again, you are not alone. We've got your back.
Absolutely. Yanadira, thank you so much for being on the show today. It was such a pleasure. Can't wait to have you back on the show again so that we can talk more things college and career.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. Special thanks to literally everyone on the Road to College team. And thank you so much for putting this together.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to today's episode. You will find details mentioned today in our show description. If you have any questions or would like information on what we discussed, please email us at rtcc@uplifteducation.org. Also, we understand navigating life, wellness, and education may be a challenge right now. We at Uplift want you to know you're not alone. We are on this journey together. And to help you stay informed, please visit uplifteducation.org/COVID-19, where we post all the updates and information you need to know. As a reminder, please do not forget to tune in next week for our new episode. Until then, be well and shine through. Shine through. Shine through.